You thought Trump was going to save your life. Well, millions of the Trumpers are now like, oh, we've been Trojan horsed hard, really hard. There's a couple still hanging on, but I'd say 80% of them have woken up clearly and went, hey, I don't know what happened here, but this is really bad. And listen, when it comes to politics, there is no they're all the same team. If you hate Trump, like many people do, don't be the person who will go, well, you're the one that voted for him. The last administration was just as dumb and wacky. Don't pretend one was better than the other. The last guy wasn't even real. He wasn't even real. He was half gay. He's at war in Ukraine, sending us money everywhere. You had men participating in women's sport. It was complete madness and continues to be madness.
It is kind of crazy, dude, how mainstream how unpopular Trump is. Because I'll go to places like I'm in Florida, I met a Texas guy, like when we're talking about like hardcore Republicans, and even these guys are like, I can't do anymore with Trump. I feel fucking betrayed. And like Trump, to me, everyone's like I was talking to this like really wealthy guy about like Iran, and he was like, fuck it, whatever, I don't care. I'm like, dude, you don't care because like you're fucking you're a multi-millionaire. But I was like, dude, you got to think about like every other American in Florida, Texas that are making like, what is the average? Like, I think it's like $50,000-$60,000. So you take somebody making $60,000 and now you add 4% inflation, a metric fuck ton of gas. You're adding thousands of dollars a year to their life. Like, you are like crushing families. But it's like the people that have voted you, that rallied around you, like you actively just fucking spit in their fucking face. For what, dude?
Watching the world burn, watching the world burn. August 24th, 2026. Let's get into it. I think I got a really good video. This is going to be a really good video. Anyway, always got to start. Hit that like button and subscribe to avoid or dodge censorship. Watch my uncensored videos on BitChute and Rumble at the Burn channel. Bug on my nose. And the Burn Report on Telegram. Or catch my shadow ban channels on YouTube at the Burn Report. And that cybersecurity guy on YouTube. And then, of course, now I'm on Blue Sky at the Burn Report also. And of course, I am the real Burn Report on X. Sorry to torture y'all with all that, but I got to post so many places because I get censored. I mean, if you recall back, I got booted off of X. I've been getting occasional strikes on YouTube, so I'm expecting those channels to get taken down. So that would only leave me with Rumble and BitChute, and there's really not that many people that watch. Well, I mean, Rumble's doing pretty good. But anyway, go off on a tangent. What'd you think of those videos up front? The first one, I don't know if you're familiar with him. That was Jim Brewer. He's probably one of the funniest comedians since Robin Williams that I've been able to watch. I mean, he does make me laugh, you know, or chuckle a lot of times, you know, and smile a lot. But he's not like Robin Williams. Robin Williams is the only comedian where I laughed so hard, I actually fell out of my chair. I didn't think you could laugh that hard, but my side was hurting so bad, I had to keel over, and then I just fell right out of the chair. That's who Robin Williams was. And then, of course, the second video was from Patriot Clips, and that was UFC champion Sean Strickland, who says even hardcore Republicans are done with Trump. You know, and of course you watch the video. You got to remember, most of the UFC fighters, they were hardcore Trump supporters. You know, Trump would remember he had the UFC fight on the White House lawn, and for them to be turning against Trump, that tells you a lot. And I wanted to talk about Trump for just 1 second because I had some good news for you, or for me anyway. And that was, somebody pointed out, they said, look, you know, we're coming up on midterms. More than likely, the Democrats are going to win. And if they win by a lot, not that I'm rooting for the Democrats, and that's why I put those videos up front. You got the Uniparty. You got about 80% of the Democrats are owned by the Israelis. And of course, about 95% of the Republicans are owned by the Israelis. So they're going to vote for Israel no matter what party's in there. Now, it's hard to believe, but I mean, both parties, they seem to both be working to destroy the United States, so it doesn't matter. That's why I keep saying vote third party if you can, if there's a candidate that you can support. If not, at least go vote in on some local candidates. Maybe, do your homework. You can get on the AIs and look up these local candidates. I know that a lot of times, they don't get much advertising unless they're backed. But anyway, so it took, $37 million to defeat Thomas Massie. Okay? So in order to keep Trump in office, the Israelis, can you imagine how much they'd have to spend? Now, where did that $37 million go? Well, it brainwashed a lot of old people, that's for sure, because they're easily brainwashed. And then, of course, I bet a lot of it went into cheating on the election. Probably some of it bribed voters. It's easy to buy a vote. Somebody give you $1,000 and say, hey, would you vote against Thomas Massie in the primary for $1,000? Hell yeah, I'd sell my soul for $1,000. And when you think it's $37 million, look how many votes that would buy you. You could probably do it for a lot less, $500. Or get some wino on the street. You could probably pay him $100, and he'd vote. If you can get him into the booth. Anyway, so that's what it took to take out Thomas Massie. So I thought, wow, this is great. We'll get Democrats in there because it really doesn't matter which party's in, and then they'll impeach Trump. And he won't be able to damage the country. And then Scott Ritter blew me up. God dang Scott Ritter. By the way, check out, I put up a video clip of him and Stas. Stas is a guy in Russia, and they do interviews together. Anyway, I have not laughed at a basically political commentary video. I thought, because I was just watching it, and then all of a sudden Scott just went off. And I mean, he could have been a comedian making the whole damn thing. He was talking about, Trump and his flip-flops and how, he's running the country by social media is what Scott was saying. He says, and he gave these wild examples. You got to watch the video. So I actually just made the video. I took a 10-minute, about 11-minute clip out of the whole, because it was like an hour-long broadcast. And I just put that in there because that was the part that, I have not laughed that hard in a long time. And I tell you what, it's gotten a lot of traction on X. Good Lord, I post these long format videos. I get, 100 views, 200, occasionally more than that. But that clip went viral. For me anyway, it was up at 27,000 views. And then what happens to me on X is then they quit counting. And it'll just stay right there no matter how many. The thing about X that I don't understand, I guess maybe that's, down deep in the code, I get all these notifications, see, that people are liking that video. And then so, that means they all viewed it, right? And then I go over and I check my numbers, unchanged. So I'm thinking, why are all these people, I'm getting all these notifications about people liking the video, which means they obviously looked at it, and I get no increase in my numbers. Same with people subscribing. I get a lot of subscribers. I get 2 or 3 subscribers every day. My numbers are unchanged on X. So I'm kind of shadow banned there too. I got a new video here. This was leaked footage from the USS Abraham Lincoln. By the way, we got a later story. We're going to talk about the Abraham Lincoln in a different way. We'll get into that when we get there in the video. And this is the flight deck shocking footage of sailors being compelled to work under harsh weather conditions. This has prompted Democrat lawmakers to demand Pete Hegseth's death. Excuse me, I got to name him correctly. Resignation. Experts argue this was unnecessary. Let's watch that video now. It's just a short one. All right, so that was that video. Now we get into, this was Ulysses Finn. Anyway, 65 million, this is the desert in China. 65 million, I want to say acres. He just says MU. I don't know what an MU is. Desert in China has been converted into an oasis. And this is pretty cool. I didn't even know you could do this, but I'll let the video speak for itself. I wish we could do something like this in the United States. You know, maybe, you know, if we could work a bargain with China. An area the size of Denmark. Imagine what happens when a government treats tax revenue as a public trust instead of a war budget. While some nations spend $8,868 a year, I don't know where he gets that number. Oh, billion. Yeah, no, we spend trillions, buddy, a year on defense. China spent it planting trees in the sand. Let's watch that video.
Did you know that China is planting trees in the Gobi Desert to stop the relentless spread of sand? But these aren't just any trees. They've been specially engineered in laboratories to survive with minimal water and quickly transform into durable vegetation. The Gobi Desert, spanning Mongolia and China, is one of the fastest expanding deserts on Earth. Every year, it spreads across thousands of hectares, swallowing villages and threatening farmland. These trees play a crucial role in stabilizing the soil, preventing erosion, and slowing down the desert's advance, protecting the last patches of fertile land in its path. But that's not all. They might even increase rainfall. Through a process, the trees release moisture into the air. The water drawn from their roots is expelled through their leaves, helping to form clouds that could lead to more rainfall in the region. This project is a major effort to fight desertification. Without intervention, the desert would continue its steady march, turning once livable areas into barren wastelands. By planting these specially designed trees, China hopes to put a stop to the Gobi's unstoppable expansion.
All right, on to the next page. We're working right through. This is Daily War. Never heard of these guys, but it's translated from Turkish. The Jews will one day encounter real warriors. On that day, they will understand war is not about killing babies. But what I wanted to show you is, you know, because right now Israel's trying to pick a fight with Turkey. Well, most people are saying it's just for show to get Netanyahu re-elected, because Israel would never be stupid enough to to take on Turkey. And Erdogan, you know, I wouldn't say he's a coward. He's kind of a sly old fox. He makes a lot of money off of Israel to keep his economy going. So he doesn't want war. So I think it's all for show, just because Netanyahu wants to look tough before his population. Anyway, I do have we'll get later on in the video, I have a good picture for you. But let's watch the professionalism of the Turkey. This is very professional marching. And by the way, look at how everybody's in lockstep. I mean, this is, you know, having commanded Marines, we marched very well. But man, when I got to the Army, they didn't look anything like this. Watch that video. All right, so this clip is out of place because I forgot to put it in the video, and this was my war porn clip, and I skipped right over it when I was reading my notes. So we're going to work this in right after the Turkish soldiers marching, and this was from the Marginal, M-G-I-N-A-L-E, translated from Turkish. May Allah grant us the opportunity to witness the day that we erase Israel from the world. And it's a war porn video. Let's watch that now. Okay, so then we got Jackson Hinkle. This is actually a video from Che Bowles. I've got to give attribution where it's due. It says a $300 million, or not 300, a $300, excuse me, that's hard to believe, Houthi drone dropped a homemade mine munition onto a $10 million Saudi Arabian American M1A2S Abram tank, resulting in the ignition of the tank's ammunition, thus destroying the tank. Now, before I show you the video, I mean, not even the United States has learned anything from Russia and Ukraine. Okay, you have to put like my house says what's called a bird cage. So I'll call it, but it's a cage. It's a metal cage, and you wrap the tank in a metal cage so that when a grenade is dropped from a drone, it hits that cage and blows up. It's kind of like, reactive armor. Okay, reactive armor, when an anti-tank missile hits the tank, it blows up so that the explosion goes away from the tank. That's why it's called reactive armor. Well, the bird cage does the same thing. It keeps the explosion away from the tank, and I can't believe the Saudis are too stupid not to look at Ukraine and go, because they're fighting Yemen right now. Why wouldn't you put a bird cage? I mean, just look on TV. I mean, you can see it. And the United States hasn't done it either. All right, let's watch that video. All right, wasn't that crazy? The whole tank just cooked off. So yeah, that tank was toast. Now this is a story, I haven't been able to verify this, but I just thought I'd bring it out. It's being reported that 70 soldiers, and by the way, it was a video. Now, let me just give you the background on this before we get into reading it. Okay, so the video is going all around X. Multiple accounts, questionable origin, could be bots. And it shows Douglas McGregor in the video, and it's translated from Turkish. So that Douglas, I mean, unless you can read lips, he could be saying anything. It was him on the Judge Napolitano show. Now, believe me, whenever Douglas McGregor's on Judge Nap, I watch him. He has never mentioned this on that show. And I watch just every time he comes on, I'm right there for it. So I don't think that the video is valid. I think somebody just dubbed in, the subtitles and said that this is what he was saying. And so I don't think this is real, but it says that 70 mercenaries, from the United States, probably sheep-dipped special forces and Israelis went into Yemen and basically were ambushed and killed. You take of that what you will. I won't read you the whole post because I don't think it's real, but could be wrong. Like I said, it's all over X. So talk about Turkey vehicles in Syria. Oh yeah. All right, so I've been getting conflicting reports. Like I said in the last video, I had footage of all these vehicles that were supposedly on their way to Syria from Turkey, okay? And I thought, I didn't put it in the video because I didn't believe it, because Israel has said any vehicles that come into Turkey are going to be destroyed. They don't want any heavy armor and anything like that in Syria. Well, now the reports are, and there's multiple reports now, I think I can pretty much say that Turkey has moved heavy vehicles, tanks, kind of Bradley type, I don't know what Turkey calls them, Bradley type fighting vehicles, troop carriers. So they have moved into Turkey from what I can tell. I mean, like I said, multiple sources have now reported that. And so, yeah, I think Turkey just told Israel to F off and has gone into right next to their border into Israel. And so we got a picture of Israel bombing the Turkey airport. By the way, in the last video, or my song, we're going to get to that in the end, I had a AI-generated picture of, and I got the picture up right now, of course, and of Israel bombing that airport. Now, the news was, some people reporting that 2 people were killed and it was a negotiation. Everything I've been able to determine, it was just the runway. Why Israel blew up the runway, maybe it was all for show. Like I said, to get Netanyahu elected. So they dropped a few bombs on this airport, saying that Turkey wanted to use it just to make Netanyahu look good. That's kind of my opinion. Now, this is a hell of a story. This is a, oh, wait a minute. Let's get first Health Ranger out of the way. Excuse me. Trump's nuclear war madness could result in the deaths of billions of people. And here's an AI illustrated infographic I put together. Now, I'm put that graphic up, so you're looking at it right now. But yeah, there's a lot of reports coming out now that the Pentagon, at Trump's direction, are looking at using tactical nuclear weapons on Iran. Now, our force posture, now I don't know if the generals will go along with that. And we're going to talk about that. Well, let's get into that right now. First off, let's finish this story. I'll take the graphic down. So it looks like, you know, well, our posture has always been an imminent threat. So, in fact, Scott Ritter reported that he's talked to certain people in the military, because he's still got connections, and probably this was years ago, some of them, and they told him, they said, even if North Korea launched a missile at the United States, it's still questionable whether we would nuke North Korea, okay? Depending on, you know, watching that missile come in. So the fact so our posture has always been an imminent threat. Well, right now, Iran poses no imminent threat, so it's going against all military doctrine. And the military of the past would reject that order. But then you got Pete Hegseth's death as the Secretary of Defense. I don't know where that goes. I don't know if Trump orders it, that the military might just nuke it, and then God knows where it goes. You know, Pakistan might launch. Hell, somebody, you know, I don't know what they would hit. I guess they could hit a tactical nuke on Jordan, you know, for example, where our bases are there. They could do that in retaliation. We'll see, man. That's a very bad idea. All right, so let's get into the story of the day. You know, sometimes you got to be a soap opera, because this is a soap opera. All right, so in the last video, I was talking about this woman that follows Trump around with the printer and maybe his girlfriend. And you know, if Trump's still at 80, getting it on, more power to him. You know, like I said, we don't see Melania no more. But her name was, I couldn't get her name. So I did a deep dive into her. And this is gonna be good. Her name is Natalie Harp. And I was going like, who the hell is Natalie Harp? You know, and she's been around Trump since 2020. I have never seen her, heard her. I guess she's never, I don't know. She was on the Republican National Convention, but like you, I didn't watch the whole damn convention. You know, back then I was a big Trump supporter. So let's just tell you who she is. Natalie Harp is an American political aide and former television anchor who has served as a special assistant and executive assistant to the President of the United States since 2025. In 2019, Harp received special attention after praising Donald Trump for signing into law the federal right to try law she claimed has saved her life. Trump invited Harp to serve as a member of the advisory board for his 2020 presidential campaign and to speak at the 2020 Republican National Convention. Harp worked for the far-right television channel One America News Network from 2020 to, oh, damn it, I got the page turned the wrong way. Hold on. There we go. To 2022. She later became an aide to Trump for his 2024 presidential campaign, exerting influence over his communications. So, okay, so we're kind of getting a look at how, you know, she's been around Trump for a while. If Trump really did indeed save her life, you could see where she'd be very appreciative and very loyal to Trump. But let's just keep going. Keep tilting the camera here. In January of 2025, Trump appointed Harp as his White House staff. As his assistant, Harp has managed Trump's. Now this is very interesting. This is where it gets juicy, because you know, you wonder where are these crazy Trump social posts coming from. You know, I mean, I guess Trump gives some sort of direction to her, but it's managed Trump's Truth Social account and was responsible for several controversial posts on his account. I wondered if she was just posting, you know, crazy shit. I mean, this woman could be like Laura Loomer, a lunatic. I don't know, man. I'm getting into it now. Oh my God. So then in 2026, Harp's close relationship and unusual influence over Trump became the subject of extensive media reporting and speculation. Natalie Harp was born in 1991, raised in California. That's a red flag, right? Red flag right there. Anybody raised in California has got a screw loose, I'm sure. She and her older brother were homeschooled by their mother, Jill Harp. Her brother has said they were taught American exceptionalism at home. She is a devout evangelical Christian. And her father, evidently, homeschooling. So she's probably a brainwashed Zionist Christian, because most evangelicals are. So now I'm going to put up a Lego video about her, because I found this. And notice in the Lego video, because one of the stories that I thought was not real, but the Lego guys are pretty good about doing their homework. It shows her jumping into the back, what looks like an SUV, because there wasn't room in the vehicle for her to sit in a seat. So she actually, just dove. I mean, imagine just getting in a hatchback, and getting back there just so you could stay with the president. So check out that in the Lego video. Let's watch that video now.
Natalie, girl, why are you everywhere? Natalie, Donald turns around, you're there. You got that printer humming all night long, stacking up the headlines saying Donald's never wrong, running by the golf cart, papers in your hand like the world's most dedicated one-woman marching band. Letters on the table, messages in gold, you're all that matters, girl, that's awfully bold. Melania walks in like, what the hell is this? Natalie just standing there with another printed list. At the club, on the plane, in the hallway once again. Every door that Donald goes through, somehow you come rolling in. Natalie, why are you always hanging around my man? Natalie, with a stack of truth posts in your hand. Golf cart, locker room, motorcade, catering truck, in a presidential raid. People keep talking, nobody knows, but everywhere Donald Trump goes, Natalie goes. Natalie goes. Natalie goes. Natalie goes. They call you human printer, baby, what a name. Feeding him the internet and fueling up the flames. The SUV is crowded and they say there ain't a seat. Rumor says you'll find a way to never miss a beat. Sleeping at Bedminster, staying close at night. Printing every compliment that says the boss is right. Stormy look-alike jokes lighting up the feed. Washington is gossip and the internet is speed. Printer ink and Sharpie pens, here she comes around again. Melania's probably wondering, does this woman ever go home? Natalie, why are you always hanging around my man? Natalie, with another love note looking letter in your hand. Golf cart, locker room, motorcade, catering truck, in a presidential raid. Maybe it's nothing, maybe God only knows, but everywhere Donald Trump goes, Natalie goes. Natalie goes. Oh, Natalie goes. Natalie goes. Ma'am, there's nowhere left to ride. Move the printer, I can fit inside. Donald takes a golf swing, she's 20 feet behind, holding 12 articles saying he's a mastermind. Melania calls down, has anybody seen my husband?
Everybody points.
Follow the printer! Natalie, girl, you got the whole damn internet asking. Natalie, is this employment or method acting? Airplane, clubhouse, motorcade, every strange escape plan ever made. Maybe it's gossip, maybe nobody knows, but everywhere Donald Trump goes, Natalie goes. Natalie goes. Natalie goes. Natalie goes. There she goes.
Wasn't that great? Oh my God. I tell you what, those Lego guys, they're getting better and better. The next video is Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she's talking about America's national debt has crossed 40 trillion, and we talked about that in the last video. Trillions spent on endless foreign wars and reckless COVID spending have weakened our dollar and pushed the American dream further out of reach. Gen Z and millennials aren't even on the same playing field as their grandparents, and not because they're not working hard enough. I couldn't agree more. There's never been a generation like mine that 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 didn't care about their kids at all. All they cared about was their self-promotion, like, all these old farts living in the villages. I imagine some of them have kids, but they don't give a shit about their kids. A lot of them, anyway. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, so I've got a video of Bill Gates injecting a kid. Let's watch that now, because I tell you what, if you don't like needles like I don't, it's going to make you cringe.
It's time for your COVID shot.
Will it hurt?
Just a little pinch. It's for your safety.
Okay.
Good. Hold still.
Ow!
There. All done. You're protected now.
Thank you.
That's my AI-generated video of Bill Gates. So now we get into the Marjorie Taylor Greene video. Let's play that for you now.
Foreign wars, not wars protecting our homeland, but wars fought in foreign countries, many of them in places you can't find on a map, have added approximately $8 trillion to the U.S. National debt. $8 trillion in killing people and bombing cities and blowing up things and blowing up people, but having nothing to do with our own border on our own homeland. It's a lot of money. So over the past 25 years, between foreign wars and COVID, a flu, a virus created in a lab with our tax dollars, the U.S. has added approximately $13 trillion in national debt. So no, young people today, no, Gen Z and millennials, you're not on the same playing field as your grandparents were in 1970. Not at all. As a matter of fact, I'd say a lot has changed, and it's made things more difficult for you.
All right, so we got those two videos out of the way. Yeah, okay, we're getting on. So this is a big deal, all right? This is a big deal. This is part of Trump suppressing free speech. Now, you wonder where this reporting on the Abraham Lincoln came from, and because we heard about the toilets, could have been a fake story. The food situation was real. I verified that by multiple sources, okay? And the reason we know it's real is because of what I'm going to talk to you about right now. And if you didn't know, one of the things that we always were able to depend on the military was the publicly funded Stars and Stripes. Okay, they've always been a very reliable organization, and their function when they were created was actually to call out problems that were going on and bring it, into the public sphere so that it would be addressed by, generals or the military, the Pentagon, whoever you want to look. And that's been kind of their responsibility. Well, Trump and Haig's death, they don't like that too much. So here, let me read you what's happened. So the Pentagon, Pete Hegseth, has fired senior employees of its official newspaper, Stars and Stripes, after they publicly criticized what they called government interference in electoral policy. First published during the U.S. Civil War in 1861, the newspaper has served as a voice for American troops and reaches about 1.4 million readers daily online and through its overseas print publications. So as I was saying, look how long it's been around. No other president, other than Hegseth and no other Secretary of War, or whatever you want to call him, has ever interfered with the Stars and Stripes. Although partly funded by the Pentagon, it's legally required to maintain electoral independence. The paper recently criticized U.S. tactics in the war against Iran and reported on numerous problems facing military during the campaign. Editor-in-chief Eric Slavin, publisher Max Lederer, and Middle East reporter Laura Slavin told AP that he was fired for stating in a CBS interview that hypothetical censorship of news for service members constitute a red line. I don't know why they said hypothetical. I just cut and pasted from the Post. I stand by the principle that the Stars and Stripes must remain editorially independent, as required by law and the department's own policies, he added. dismissed after telling CBS that she worked for Stars and Stripes and not the Pentagon, nor any administration, nor any policymaker. Ledbetter, who had served as publisher for 19 years and was due to retire in September, wrote his resignation letter on Tuesday, and that his understanding of the newspaper's value and mission differed in fundamental ways from the Pentagon leadership plans. Folks, this is a major blow to free speech. Trump, as I've said in previous videos or shown you, he doesn't give a shit about the United States. He doesn't give a shit about free speech, and he doesn't give a shit about you and me. Let's continue reading. Stars and Stripes was among the first outlets to report on deteriorating living conditions and low morale aboard the aircraft carrier U.S. Abraham Lincoln, which spent more than 200 days operating near Iran without port calls. And I think it's a lot more than that. 270 days now, maybe 280 now, because they're supposedly, I keep hearing stories that they're still in the Middle East. So they, who knows? Because they wanted, 3 carriers there. That's a lot of firepower if we're going to initiate hostilities with Iran again. A lot of people are pointing that out. It also reported ammunition short. It also reported, the publication, ammunition shortages and published an op-ed earlier this month by retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Daniel L. Davis, who argued that America's war against Iran has already been lost at the strategic level. U.S. President Donald Trump has repeatedly accused media outlets of spreading fake news and sued several of them. And War Secretary Pete Hegseth has vowed to push woke culture out of the military and revive the warrior spirit. Dark, dark day. It's a dark, dark day. I have a video, but I'm not adding that one to this video. This is the Russian embassy in South Africa from source. And this is, I just thought this was kind of interesting. They're not, the subtitles are all screwed up and it's hard to read anything, but I just wanted to show you, I might cut it off midway. It's only about a minute long, but what I wanted to point out was, back in the day, the Russians have maintained the International Space Station. Remember that the shuttle was grounded. So they cooperated with the United States on on a lot of missions and actually took American astronauts into space to put them on the space station. And of course, Russia did all of the resupply missions until, we did have a recent mission from SpaceX, but as far as I know, Russia's still handling all the International Space Station. So I just thought I wanted to point all that out. Everybody wants to beat up on the Russians. Russians, they do, well, their military is top notch now. Anyway, let's watch, I'll just read the rest. It reminds us that wherever we are, the motherland is always with us. And it's just a patriotic Russian video for their nation. Let the colors of our flag remind them of the strength and spirit and unity of the Russian people. Let's watch that now.
Уважаемые соотечественники, мы, космонавты Роскосмоса Петр Дубров, Анна Кикина и Андрей Федяев, с борта Международной космической станции поздравляем вас с Днем Государственного флага России. Один из главных государственных символов нашей страны всегда представлен здесь, на высоте более 400 километров над землей, на борту Международной космической станции. И для нас большая честь нести этот символ в космосе.
Российский флаг здесь, в космосе. Это символ победы наших ученых и инженеров, символ преодоления границ возможного и победы над гравитацией. Он напоминает нам о том, откуда мы родом и для чего находимся здесь. Объединяет всю нашу огромную страну от Калининграда до Камчатки и напоминает, что где бы мы ни находились, Родина всегда с нами. Развернув флаг нашей страны за пределами Земли, мы с честью представляем Россию на Международной космической станции и являемся частью великой истории освоения космоса.
Сегодня в нашей стране проходит всероссийская акция «Поднять флаг», к которой присоединяемся и мы, космонавты Роскосмоса. Где бы вы ни жили, в крупном городе или маленьком поселке, поднимите флаг. Пусть он станет знаком единства и гордости за нашу страну. А мы здесь, на орбите, мысленно вместе с вами. Пусть три цвета нашего флага напоминают о силе духа и сплоченности нашего народа. Желаем всем мира, добра и новых высот, как на земле, так и за ее пределами.
Okay, I know that was a rough video to watch. So I'm going to finish off right here. There's more to the video. We'll have it coming up here in a few. So this is my new song. It's called Trump Does Not Care. This is a raw protest anthem calling out broken promises, double standards, and a system that puts everyone else first while America burns. First, from America first, turn to ashes, and laws for thee, but not for me, to drain in the swamp that never gets drained. This is the sound of a nation that has had enough, and it's the sound of a dying empire. We'll do a reading. I mean, I'm going to check my notes when I get to my bench, drink some water. I'm fat and out of shape because, you know, as you know, it's been raining quite a bit here. But let's. Since I know this isn't the video, let's just get to that song and we'll continue here in a few. All right. All right, on the way back, there were some things I meant to talk about, obviously, in the video. I was going through my bookmarks, nothing really. That's all for the next video. Anyway, Scott was pointing out, and this depressed me even more, especially after shot down my thrill at the thought of Trump being impeached, maybe even arrested. But, you know, anyway, he blew that up. But the other thing he pointed out was, you know, if Trump does declare himself emperor, which he is more or less right now, it's because Congress has abdicated its responsibility as the third branch of government. I mean, he was pointing out that they gave Trump the War Powers Act, which just means that Trump can declare war on anybody in the world, and he doesn't need congressional approval. And so, if that's not an emperor, I don't know what is. So, you know, that's the first thing. The second thing is that he can, as part of the, if he declares a national emergency, he can actually disband the powers of Congress altogether. And so, a lot of people on YouTube are pointing out now that Trump, you know, doesn't seem to be worried about the midterms. I mean, you know, he's doing everything he can to destroy the United States. And I showed you with Sean, the UFC guy. I mean, I don't know of anybody that supports Trump anymore. So, I mean, it seems to me the midterms are going to be a bloodbath if we have an election, unless it's rigged somehow, which I'm sure a lot of it is rigged, you know, because we never got the SAVE Act. But then the Democrats, I mean, that means the Democrat states, if it's rigged, they're going to, well, I guess there could be some Israeli money there, but they're going to rig it in the Democrats' favor. So if you got rigging going both ways, it kind of balances itself out. I don't know. But what Scott was saying is the ICE, that those are Trump's shock troops, and there's a hell of a lot of them. And he said if Trump declares himself emperor, or king, he put, that he could take ICE, and they'd be a shock troops on the. So then you think, well, the states would fight him. Okay, well, Scott pointed out the National Guard can be federalized. Okay, so let's say you got a governor, and he says, we're going to fight this. We're not going to allow you to declare yourself emperor, Trump. And so then Trump just turns around and says, okay, good. You think your National Guard's going to fight for you or me? And he federalizes the National Guard, which means they're part of the U.S. military. Now, what are those officers in charge of those National Guard units going to do? Because, you know, if only a couple of states came out against it, if you've got the entire weight of the military, plus, let's say a number of states go with the federal government, you're outgunned 8-1. You know, to fight against Trump. So what Scott was saying is now you got the National Guard troops on the streets plus the ICE agents. And basically that's martial law all the way across the United States. And believe me, with the financial crisis that's coming and the fuel prices that are coming, I do believe we're going to have a national emergency by the time the midterms are here. So why is Trump walking around with no worries whatsoever about the midterm elections? That was kind of depressing. The next topic I wanted to get onto was the video studio. Oh, no, not the video studio. Anyway, I've made zero progress. I do have a pecking order, okay? Before I make a video, everything around the house has to be clean on the interior. And then, of course, I always try to work in a project outside the house. Like I trimmed the bushes before I came out today for the hike. So as long as I get something done, because there's always something outside the house, you know, you'll never finish that up. Well, just like you don't finish up inside the house, but you know, the basic things I got to get done, the dishes, the laundry, you know, cleaning the house, vacuuming, those four things right there. That's it. You know, those are the things that absolutely have to be done before I come out or work on the video studio. So then, you know, when I make a video, you know, and then of course doing backups and all of that stuff. So all that has to be done. But anyway, the latest project that I got into was open source AI. And it's pretty cool. I was working with, you definitely got to work with Grok or ChatGPT. You know, it's amazing. I couldn't believe that they were telling me about open source AIs. You'd think that'd be against their interest because, you know, obviously the reason that Grok and ChatGPT are there is to entice people to use them and pay for them. You know, I get Grok because I'm a blue. By the way, this was funny because, you know, I changed from that CyberSec guy on X over to I keep saying the real report. It's Real Burning Report. No the in front of it. Real Burning Report. So anyway, when I did that, I didn't realize my blue check mark was gone. I just hadn't checked. And then all of a sudden I get this notification like 2 days ago, your blue check mark is back. And I'm thinking, good God, when did I change over to Real Burn Report on X? And it was weeks ago. So I was without a blue check mark, which meant all the stuff I was posting doesn't really go anywhere without a blue check mark, you know. Even with the blue check mark, it doesn't go that far. But I said, no wonder I wasn't getting any activity for about the last 2 weeks. You know, so that was 2 weeks of stuff posting on X for no freaking reason. just tell you how dumb I am. Oh yeah, so the open source, what you can do is you can download the open source AIs and load them onto your computer. And then you don't, you know, and they're supposedly pretty good. And so I took about, 10, 20 pages of notes, and I haven't gotten started on trying to install an open source AI on my computers yet. But I got all the notes, and I'm probably going to have to tweak them quite a bit, because that's what I do is I just cut and paste, and then I go back and I have to clean everything up. And then there's always stuff I'm going, I don't understand what it's saying right here, and I got to go back to the AI and ask questions. And so eventually, but I'll let you know how that project goes. That would be really cool to have your own AI running on your own computer in my video studio so that I don't even have to use Grok or ChatGPT. Now, the other thing that it did recommend was more than one open source AI. And by the way, the good news about the open source AI is you don't have to worry about being spied on. And also, as you train your AI, it gets better and better. So you're literally, you know, I don't know, you're your own data set. I mean, I just think it's a cool idea. It's a cool concept. Maybe, you know, I'm geeking out. Anyway, the last thing is I haven't been out hiking for a while. I got sick. And then, of course, it's been raining. And I've been just kind of working on the inside of the house, doing some projects and stuff, you know, cleaning up my videos and deleting a bunch of stuff and whatever. So right now, you know, because of my breaking my neck, I have nerve damage, which means I don't have a lot of feeling in my feet. And because I haven't been hiking, my circulation is probably bad. So right now I feel like Frankenstein. My feet are just 2 blocks moving along because I can't feel a damn thing in my feet. And so, you know, it's kind of like I'm going like, are there feet down there? You know, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a weird feeling. But, you know, there's enough nerve activity that I'm able to, well, the legs are okay. It's just the feet. I can't feel them. I don't know, just a funny story. All right, that should be it for the video. I'll put the song after this clip because I like to get all the stuff out because the song is meant to be fun. All right, now I can say it. Peace out. Stay free. Stay frosty. Okay, I'm going to put this before the last clip. We got breaking news. Russia has just blown up, reportedly, a major command center in Ukraine. Unknown how many people, or if any, were killed. If it was populated, it would be a lot of the senior command structure for the Ukraine military, or some of it. So yeah, I'm sure that's all the details I'll be able to put in this video, but we'll know more. Probably it'll be old news by the time I make the next video.
America's burning, the dollar's dying, no one cares. Fake promises of hot air. Former Trump supporters are burning symbols, screaming out his name in vain. Republicans will cry soon as the Democrats win. Promises torched like the lies in the sky. America first turned to ashes and dirt. The dreams going up in smoke and it fucking hurts. Trump don't care, Trump don't care, Trump don't care. He keeps breathing that warmongering neocon air. Trump don't care, Trump don't care, Trump don't care. Laws for thee, but not for me. It's all fucking unfair. Trump continues in the Ukraine fight, wasting more taxpayer money to a sick delight, stealing oil from Venezuela while Gaza lies and ruins. He said drain the swamp and the endless wars, but the hawks flew back in through open doors. Deep state still laughing, no handcuffs in sight. Epstein case dismissed, everyone walks free tonight. No Clinton in chains, no foul, you're rusted, no Biden on trial. No coming in jail, just letting Democrats raise a legal hell. We can't stand it for another while. Trump don't care, Trump don't care, Trump don't care. He keeps breathing that warmongering neocon air. Trump don't care, Trump don't care, Trump don't care. Billions and trillions flowing out while we breathe this hot air. Some scream 3 million dead. The real toll's still a blur. We knew it was over a million long ago, and the meat grinder won't defer. Biden and the Democrats put in $300 billion, and Trump has added so much more, making the contractors and Congress fat while the front stays bent. Watch us grinding forward, slow but steady on key fronts. Blowing shit apart day after day. Cities turn to dust and grunts. Advances come at a slaughter price, yet they keep pushing through. While Trump and the hawks keep the dollars flowing. Same old endless screw. Now Lebanon's looking just like Gaza, rubble and flame. Trump and Israel keep bombing while the world looks away in shame. Villages flattened, civilians dying, buffer zones expand. He puts Israel first every time. American people be damned. No shit given for the folks back home, drowning in debt and pain. Just more endless war, more foreign blood, same old neocon game. America first was the slogan. Now it's ashes in the dirt, while bombs fall on Beirut's doorstep, and our own futures hurt. Syria's heating up again. Israeli jets light the sky, striking bases near the Turkish border. Tensions running high. Turkey's watching close, talking tough, maybe ready to dive in. Another front, another war, while Americans pay the sin. Trump backs the chaos, Israel first, no care for the cost at home. Pushing alliances and red lines that could set the whole region to roam. From Italy battlefields to southern raids, the powder kegs about to blow. Still he don't give a damn about the people drowning below. We marched in the millions, we wore it with pride. Now it's fuel for the flames of the Great Divide. 40 trillion in